isn't that the reason why they got Hal Jordan? I mean, like actually, they wouldn't know that. No, they wouldn't know that. Then there was this, but probably the one thing I have my main gripe on is like they say like is when they say they have to fight fear with fear. Okay, you could do that. But they went out of the way and then they made a ring that amplifies the power of fear. I don't think you need to do that. I think you don't need to make a ring that is made out of the yellow power of fear. You just stop being a fearless dick. You just don't. You're just like, I'm the fearless, and that's how I was put into this corps. I think it's better if you stop doing that and you just stop being fearless. Be afraid and just show fear. I bet there's like a plot point of what I'm saying, but this is what I think should have happened. But feel free to correct my point. But this is what I originally think. But you can prove me wrong if you are a fan of the Green Lantern stuff. Prove me wrong. I think I might be wrong, but that's why I find it stupid how you have to make a ring. But then again, it's part of the whole comic book stuff. But it seems like a plot point to me. But you can point out my flaw. So yeah, what else did I not like? Well, yeah, I remember like some of the side characters I really hated. Like, I just didn't Tim Robbins is like the villain's dad. What was he doing there? I didn't think Tim Robbins should have been in this film. And to be honest, I think he did a horrible job. When I looked at him, I thought he was more like... I thought he just like stumbled onto the set and and someone just threw a script at him because... And he looks lost. But then again, that's what Tim Robbins does kind of look like as an old man. But he seriously looks like he had no clue what he was doing. I didn't think Tim Robbins did a good job. I thought he did... In fact, I thought he was like one of the worst of the side characters. So yeah, that's what I thought about Tim Robbins' character. Yeah, feel free, but honestly, I didn't like Tim Robbins in this film. I mean, he was good in Shawshank, but man, did I hate him in this film. Then there was like a few other side characters who apparently didn't get much screen time. There was like this best friend character who was with Hal Jordan, and I guess he was more like a comedy relief character that they were supposed to go along with, and he didn't do much harm. I mean, he was just there. I didn't really care about him, but he was there, and he could have posed a threat to being comedy relief, but thankfully he didn't. One other character I really didn't like was oh yeah, the love interest, Carol Ferris, whatever the actress's name is. But the character, Carol Ferris, I didn't like her at all. I mean, she just didn't seem all important to me. I mean, sure, she might have been in the comics, and she might have been important in the film in some way, but I didn't feel anything that seemed important to her, other than her being the romantic lead. And it just... I just didn't like her as a character, and sometimes she just seemed to be a bit mean. She just seemed to have this thing for just like going at Hal Jordan's character, and I didn't like her that way. No, I just didn't like her. And yeah, she didn't really act that. I don't think the actress did too well as well. I guess to me, she was just like one of those women that just looks hot. They just put her in a dress, and then they threw in her, and then they just made her the character that was in the comics, and then just made her and then I was like, oh, she's apparently in the comics, and she was like the romantic lead to this character. Just throw her in there, and make it, just do it. Don't develop her just don't develop her enough. Just say that the only development we should give her is that she was apparently a childhood friend of her. No, I didn't like her. No, I didn't like her. I just didn't like her, no. But I have to admit, there was one funny part in the film with her and Hal Jordan's character. It's like when she meets Green Lantern as more of like Hal Jordan in the Green, trying to hide his identity from her, and it's actually kind of funny. It's like they do a bit of a disguise the voice joke. I guess DC really wants to make fun of like Christian Bale's growly voice. Nobody can, like, there's no excuse of why you shouldn't make fun of that. But instead of like doing a growly voice, he does more of a deep voice, and he doesn't do a growly voice. He just like talks like, "Are you okay, miss?" He doesn't do a deep voice. I think that's how Batman should have done his voice, and it's a funny joke actually. And but that's not the funny part. The funny part is like she notices it's him even though he's wearing a mask. And I guess that's actually the film making fun of itself. I think the film, that's actually one instances where I think the film's being self-aware. That superheroes sometimes wear the smallest masks, and it's a really small mask, and it's true. I mean, how can you actually this? You're not doing. I think you need to do better than I think you need to do a better job at hiding your identity than rather hiding your cheekbones. That's one of the lines in the film, but really, it's a good point. There's such a small mask. I think you need to do a better job than that. So yeah, that's one of the good parts of the film. One of the other things I really didn't like is like it seemed to be padded out. I mean, I wouldn't say it's padded out, but it's a superhero film, and I think you need to have more instances where he's fighting crime. And there's not that much time where he's actually being the Green Lantern, other than him being... In fact, the only time I really see him saving somebody in public was once. And then he was in the Green Lantern costume when he was having his first fight with Dr. Hector Hammond. Then there was the time when then there was like the final part of the film where he was like fighting Parallax, and like the final part. I won't give any spoilers. But yeah, there's not, for a superhero film, there's not enough parts of it where he's being a real crime fighter. But then again, I guess that's because he's more of a I think it's because he's more of a Green Lantern, and they're more likely to be space police. And I guess that's a good point. Yeah, I've actually managed to just like enter a point and then I just steered around and correct myself. Whatever, I might end up doing that a few more times. But I think it would have been better if we actually managed to make him more popular around city folk. Like make him more, expand him around like people, like humans, like have him more famous around the people. And give him more than just one crime fighting part. Like, do what they did in Spider-Man. Have him like apparently be a bit of a crime fighter. I think that's what he did. That's what he did in the cartoon, didn't he? In Justice League, wasn't it? I haven't watched it in a while. So yeah, I thought the film was okay. It wasn't like Thor. With Thor, I just didn't like it because it was silly to me. But Green Lantern was a different approach. It was more of, it's part of the DC universe, and it's a big universe. And I enjoyed it for what it was worth, and it was an okay film. I watched it twice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't a film that was meant to be examined. It was more of a film that was meant to be watched, just to be a fun film, and it did a good job at that. And I wouldn't say it's a great film, but I'll give it a good rating. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, that was my review on Green Lantern, and that was my introduction. Yeah, and that's the last film I'll be reviewing for a bit until Captain America comes out. You'll see me around soon, and see you at the movies.